Life is hard, but it could be worse. Life is hard, but it could be worse. Life is hard.
Welcome to the new PBS documentary,
Life is hard.
Bite My Scrotum.
Please bite my scrotum.
Oh,
PBS.
please bite scrotum.
Right, please
I
bite
never
scrotum.
get this stuff right. Cut, start over.
It's actually probably PBS North Carolina because that's the only place they bite the scrotum.
My scrotum. Yeah, no, it was in the news.
In North Carolina, though, yeah.
Yeah, it was North Carolina. Yeah, Bohunk nowhere. Some woman. I mean, the police, the report was very short on details. They just said that she did permanent damage to his genitals with her teeth.
Was it accidental? Was she lovingly nipping his testicles
And then they hit a bump in the road?
Right. While driving. There's something else you should not do while you're driving.
There wasn't enough detail in the story well, she was charged with a malicious act, so clearly it was, there must have been...
We have an inside source, though.
Yes, we do. And I would...
We have Mr. Monday back, we should mention. That's the,
yes, and Mr.
the voice
Monday
on the
is-
phone. Our first time having a guest by phone.
Yes, and
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
he's well connected with the law enforcement industry,
Ah.
which is kind of strange if you think about it.
So what's our inside information?
That he broke up with her,
And
That's what made her angry.
and then she attacked him while he slept.
I still think that going to sleep...
Wait a second. All he did to provoke her was break up with her.
That's not the point. You don't break up with somebody and then fall asleep in their presence. That's like saying, I want to break up with you, handcuff me to your bed and do what you want to me.
Are you saying he asked for it?
No, I'm not saying he asked for it, and she definitely shouldn't have done it.
It's
but,
not her fault. She couldn't control herself.
But he's it's not too bright, okay? He's not the sharpest tool in the shed. If he's like, oh, I want to break up with you now, excuse me, let me take a nap on your couch.
Are we allowed to say the same thing about females that dress provocatively or that spend time at a guy's house without intending
that one we
to...
never actually had a verdict on. I don't even know that we even really got into that discussion.
We didn't before, but we could now, and I'm saying, if you're saying that he should have never have fallen asleep there because, God forbid, she might do something to retaliate him breaking up with her.
I'm saying if you break up with somebody, you don't just go, hey, honey, I'm breaking up with you, and by the way, I think I want to take a nap, so wake me up in an hour. And I'm naked, so you can chew on my genitals while I sleep.
Was he naked? Do we know that? Maybe she
We don't know anything,
de-pantsed him
really. I mean, the
while
police
he was-
report was a little sketchy on details. And we're not even supposed to have that information. So we can't even mention that we got
Too late.
stuff from the police report.
Too late! Now we're all going to jail. Thanks a lot, guest.
What?
It's all your fault, bringing official police report nonsense in here that we're not even supposed to have.
It's all public record.
Well,
So we're off the hook. There
at
you
some
go.
point, it would be. It just wasn't. The newspapers didn't print it yet. So.
Well, who cares what the newspapers do? They're outdated anyway.
Well, I don't know. This is totally. This is completely irrelevant. but
Are we going off the ball eating conversation?
do you want
Are we?
to? Do you want to segue to
Are we
something
leaving
else?
the ball?
I'm not sure
I want
how
to stay
long you
on the
can-
ball eating conversation.
I'm not sure
for a
how long
while.
you can chew on this particular subject.
It's the meatball. They were progressive meatballs.
You like the meatball? You
Yeah,
like the two meatballs?
I got a feeling this guy's not going to have a lot of testosterone in his future.
If you break up with somebody and they bite your testicles, then breaking up with them was the best decision you ever made.
I
You
agree
know
with
what I'm
that.
saying?
Well,
Thank God he didn't stay with her.
I have never had this sort of problem because when I break up with somebody, I get a thank you letter.
Yes. In old time snail mail, four-page.
handwritten. Best thing that ever happened to me was you breaking up with me. Thank you.
with each letter
Have a nice life.
with each letter spanning 3 lines on a ruled sheet of paper.
Something
The,
like
mi-
that.
the middle one is dotted.
I keep them because I like to keep, evidence of the nice things I've done in my life.
Right. Dear sir, I'd like to take a moment to thank you for ending our relationship.
Exactly. Well, it beats the hell out of having your junk bitten.
Well, yeah, I would imagine.
So
I'd rather get a thank you letter.
So the guy apparently did it all wrong. He was apparently really nice to her while he was dating her, and then when he broke up with her, she felt like it was a bad thing. See, if you're mean to him while you date him, and then when you break up with him, you think it's a good thing.
Or if you're mean to them while you date them, they bite your balls before you break up with them.
Well,
intentionally, maliciously, intending to devour them.
It's never happened to me.
It's never happened to me either. Knock on something. Here you go.
I had a girl break my glasses one time, but never chew on my testicles.
Because you broke up with her, she broke your glasses?
Yeah,
So you couldn't see other girls?
I could.
That's me slapping my knee, see?
Yeah, that's good. Clever.
Yes. That's why they pay me the little bucks.
Obviously.
What's that?
Strange noise on the phone. I think that's just a...
What?
Are you
Well,
still
just heard a
there?
strange noise on the phone.
I am still here. I was zipping up my camera bag.
Sounded like somebody was chewing on your testicles.
I don't know. I thought you sneezed or something into in your hand, and you're like, like that.
But hold on. I want to know, why do blind people wear glasses? It doesn't help them see.
No,
it
it's
only
for us.
signifies to us that they're blind, but that's crazy.
It's like, why do women wear clothes? They wear clothes so that we don't lose control.
Well, that's a completely different subject,
But
but
it's similar. I mean, if you see a blind person without his glasses on, you could just smack the shit out of him because you'd be like, oh my god, there's those blind eyes looking at me.
but my point is, why do glasses signify? I mean, glasses should signify to us that this person can see because they're wearing their glasses.
Well, they're opaque, though.
I understand that, but
That
I'm
makes
saying
it pretty difficult to see. It almost guarantees they're blind because even if they could see behind the glasses, they're not seeing through them.
I'm just saying you would think there would be a different method, like, a big sign on their shirt that says, "Hey, I'm blind."
Well, yeah, but you could be faking it then. With the opaque glasses, it guarantees you're not faking it because you're like, look, even if I could see, I'm not seeing now. So if you're not walking into shit, you're doing pretty good, right? You'd be like, hey, look, I'm blind and I'm not walking into shit, right? But if you're like walking along with your eyes open, looking like you can see, and you're not walking into shit, nobody's impressed. They're like, he can probably see anyway. That's what I'd be thinking. I'd be thinking, he can see.
I think it'd be funny.
Also, people that are blind sometimes have disfigured eyes, and they try to cover that up.
I saw that.
How do you know? Have you been blind before?
No, but I went to school with a blind kid.
I saw a blind guy on YouTube.
He didn't see you.
That's
Slapping the
terrible.
hand.
That was terrible.
I know.
No, but this kid I went to school with, actually, his brother shot him in the face with a shotgun, and so his face was all disfigured, and his eyes were.
Was he an elephant?
No, what was his?
He was not.
What was his brother wearing at the time?
I have no idea. I didn't ask that question.
You mean the one that got shot, or
No,
the one that did the shooting?
I don't know what he was wearing because
Like camouflage?
I don't see it.
Oh.
So I read an article online. This is related. This is very similar. This it's a long article. It's how men really feel about sex on KooziDakota.com. But it ends with this paragraph: there is no skeleton key to every lock in a man's head or heart. We men are all different, each being unique in his own way. To find out what a man thinks about sex and how he really feels about it, you have to let him make love to you. And the more often, the better. Okay.
Right on.
How is that possibly related to getting shot in the face with a shotgun?
You're the one that said it was related. You're like, I've got another story here. It's related.
Maybe it was a different story I was thinking of.
We're so out of control. I don't know how it was related.
All I know is we've run over time.
It was related in the sense that the people that are shooting the animals, the rich people that are writing laws that keep them rich, or at least paying for lobbyists and whatever to write laws to keep them rich, are like, this was written by a man to keep the man rich in sex.
Well, apparently, in order to know what we think or how we feel, you have to fuck us.
That being said, absolutely correct. Because if you're not willing to have sex with me, I ain't sharing information.
I don't think any of the women I know have read this.
That's not really true.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like...
a woman would read that and either go, like, typical man, or just ignore it completely. They're not putting any stock in that. There's not a woman that goes, oh, that's what I've been doing wrong.
Before I got to this paragraph, I didn't know if the person who had written the story was male or female. And then I got to this paragraph and I was like, oh my God, this whole thing, like, it negated the whole rest of it.
It was a giant setup.
I was like, the whole thing was just a scam. It was just some guy
trying to... It was one long pickup line.
Yeah, he's trying to lure women into explaining how men think and all this. And then he says, but really you're never going to know unless you just fuck us. If you just fuck us hard and often... then you'll understand.
The Secrets of Men Unlocked. Buy my ebook for $15.99. And then you go through 49 and a half pages to get to that last paragraph.
Yes.
When it all comes down to is Jason's not telling you anything unless you don't bite Jason's scrotum.
Well, I mean, the whole thing, how men really feel about
you.
Sex, the whole thing is supposedly how I feel about sex. And then he says, we're all different. You can't know how we feel about sex without actually fucking us. So the whole thing, he just negates the whole article and says, now that I've lured you in, I'm going to give you one little sage piece of advice. Just fuck me. And try to abstain from biting my genitals.
Would it make you feel better to know that the guy that wrote this is the guy who had his testicles bitten?
That would make me feel much better.
By the lady that he broke up
But it
with.
should be in the police report that this was just... Because otherwise the jury's not going to see it. They're not going to have any idea that this is the impetus for that event.
I like your use of the word impetus in this situation.
Well, I would have liked to have been a fly on the wall when Putin called Elton John, because that had to have been an interesting conversation.
Yes, that would be awesome. Even though it's not Aussie. But yeah, it would be cool.
Putin probably invited Elton John to come out to Moscow to hunt elephants or something.
You wonder, like, if it's true. You wonder what he was asking him. You know, like, Elton, I've got a gay problem. What do I do about it?
Yes, how do I control this outbreak?
Elton's going to be like, you know I'm gay, right? What are you asking me for?
Is it contagious? How does it spread? Through sneezes? Through the air? Is it respiratory?
Maybe those were the questions. Do you think the leader of a nation that, you know, like, not only a nation, but it's frickin' Russia.
Yeah, but we're talking about Vladimir Putin here. He's a special kind of leader.
You think he could really be that ignorant into how...
Well, every time we see a press release from him, he's lifting weights or whining and dining some politicrat.
I think he might be gay.
Well,
or at least he's probably narcissistic. Everybody probably would agree with that. But I mean, he does a lot of.
Do you think he's going to listen to this podcast? Because if he is,
I hope
I'm going
so.
to
God, call us, Vladimir, please.
We are not putting our phone number on here.
And if you do call us, well, first, email comments at lifeishardpodcast.com and read us the riot act, but then include your phone number and we'll call you.
But no ICBMs, please.
Yeah. But we'll let you talk a lot more than Jason's talking because he hasn't been really participating.
I've been participating. I'm just listening to you guys go on and on and on.
He's making notes.
Yes.
He's getting ready to fire everything.
I'm researching. I'm Googling while you guys are talking.
Oh, you discovered that since our last conversation. The power of Google.
I think we put the idea in Google's head for Google, because remember we suggested that there should be some way of searching the body information on the network.
And we did that last week.
Yes, and now
there's Google.
Look, Mr. Monday is Googling.
Oh, you mean we planted the idea for him to Google stuff?
No, for Google to be created.
Right, because Google didn't exist till a couple days ago.
Did it?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Google, how long Google has been Googling?
Yeah. Just Google the origins of Google on, yeah.
Can you do that? Would it create an infinite feedback loop if you Googled Google?
Well, I know you can put in, what was the question we originally had? What is more evil than Satan himself? And it used to come up with Microsoft. That was in the early days of Google. Yeah, in the early days of Google, if you put in more evil than Satan himself in the search window, the first hit was Microsoft.com.
Apparently Microsoft did not own Google.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Google's completely separate. I mean, Microsoft is Bing.
Oh, yeah, that's stupid. It is. Bing!
Why? It's so funny because when Microsoft comes up with a name for something, like the Zune or something, you're like, you can tell it's Microsoft. Like, so all somebody has to do is say what the name of it is, and you're like, that was clearly Microsoft. Nobody else would come up with these names that are so... I don't even know what the word for it is. They're almost like some retarded German came up with them.
I see you've got the browser that goes Bing!
Yeah. I don't know.
And the most expensive machine in the building. Good job.
I mean, fortunately, they didn't name a lot of their products. The Office Suite, they bought all those things from somebody else.
No, so we can't blame them for Word.
No, but they trademarked Word. And somebody tried trademarking something. I don't remember what it was. But Microsoft didn't want them to trademark whatever it was they were trying to trademark. It was a fairly common word. And Microsoft attacked them on the basis of, you can't trademark a common word. But Microsoft has a trademark on Office, Word. I'm trying to remember what other really common ones they have. Well, Excel might not be that common. Excel's kind of unique. I mean, it's not actually Word. But how do you trademark Word and then go at another company for trademarking a common
Word?
It's like, really? Is there no irony in this? Does nobody get it?
Life is hard.
I do. It's hilarious.
It could be worse.
Please subscribe. Send us messages to...
Life is hard.
Your country depends on you commenting and liking and subscribing and sharing with your friends this podcast, because if this podcast ceases to continue, America ceases to continue.
We'll have to question your patriotism.
That's right. Do not let it be on you that the United States ceases to exist, is wiped off the face of the planet. Don't let the terrorists win.
But where do they send email?
Email goes to comments at lifeishardpodcast.com.
Life is hard.
All right, thanks everybody. Thanks for listening.
And thanks for
Bye.
You're true patriots.
But it could be worse. Life is hard. But it could be worse. Life is hard. But it could be worse. Life is hard. But it could be worse.